Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Kamilatul Fikriyah and my lesson number is 001. So here is my proposed title, Carok Tradition, Community Responses and Assumptions about the Carok Tradition in Madura based on the perspective Carok is not culture. There is my background of the issue. Actually, Madurais are a society that is synonymous with violence and also tends to have a violent nature. So according to my experience while studying at Universitas Erlangga, not a few people assume that I as a Madurais have a rude behavior. In addition, acts of violence in Madura called Carok increasingly make the Madurais have a bad image in the wider community. Thus, this study was made to discuss and analyze problems related to Carok, which is often considered as Madurese culture. And all kinds of bad assumptions and perspectives that have become a special feature of the Madurese will be abolished. Universitas Erlangga students will be the target in this research. So in this research, there will be two targets, namely Formara UNER, or we can call Forum Mahasiswa Madura Universitas Erlangga, and students other than Formara who are studying at Universitas Erlangga, which they will be questioned about their response to Carok. And there is the significance of the object. The first is this research as a form of reference and additional insight to people who don't know the Carok tradition further. And the second is as a means of reference for all Madurais and non-Madurais people to create harmony with each other so that social relations are closer and safer. The third is the study as input also for readers and writers to seek various kinds of information about the truth of the Carok tradition. And thus is the study with the title Attitude of the Madura Community to Carok Tradition, Phenomenological Studies of Cultural Values. This study also discussed the Carok tradition, but only according to the attitude of the Madurais community. And here, positioning of the study. There is two study, attitude of the Madura community to Carok traditions and Carok tradition community responses and assumption about the Carok tradition in Madura based on the perspective Carok is not culture. The two study have a difference. The first study in attitude of the Madura community to Carok tradition. This study discussed individual attitudes and attitudes of Madurais groups towards the Carok traditions. So the researchers only focus on Madurais. The phenomenon taken in this study is the cultural values of the Madurais community. The results of this study indicate the most Madurais don't agree that the Carok is a Madurais tradition and culture. While in my study, Carok tradition, community responses and assumptions about the Carok tradition in Madura based on the perspective Carok is not culture discusses the responses and assumptions of Madurais and non-Madurais toward Carok behavior. This research refers to the perspective that Carok is not a culture. The results of this study show how the Madurais respond to the Carok tradition and the assumptions of non-Madurais toward Carok behavior in Madura. In addition, the ultimate goal of this research is so that non-Madurais don't have bad assumptions about Madurais wherever they are. I make a statement of the problem is Carok is not a culture because it contains no aesthetic value but only a regret and restlessness for life. Although famous for its Carok tradition, Madurais are not only aggressive, rude, and arrogant people. And the last is there are four references from my study and my presentation here now. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.